So he sends sausages with the package.
Yeah, he gives like little, jerky kind of sausages, French sausages with your package.
This is actually.
If you want to hear the rest of that conversation, go ahead and get your credit card out now.
Hello and welcome everyone to episode 30 of The Mashup, the best bourbon conversation you're going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Michael, Anthony, and Steven. Hello, fellas.
Hey, it's all right. I'm glad to be back.
I'm glad to be back too, but I mean, I can't keep I start laughing before we even get to the start because I got problems, guys. I got problems.
That's fine. I thought he rushed through that one anyway.
You think so?
I thought it was
I could have done that, I'm sure.
Yeah,
that's all right. We got to make up for the professionalism in the microphones now with anti-professionalism other places.
With lackluster talking.
Yeah.
with a guy who can't get a word out because he's just laughing the whole time. That'd be me, I missed you guys tremendously last week, and Steven had to pick up the slack big time. And
I put a special episode out just for everyone.
What'd you think of that episode, Michael? Did you like it?
Well, I didn't actually listen to it, but I got a text from my wife who listened to it. If I go back to her text now, and she said, "Have you listened to your all's podcast this week?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "It's just Steven by himself, and he sounds like he's a sex phone addict, a sex phone line." And so
So this is like the 1-900 number.
Well, so part of me automatically wants to go listen, but then part of me is like, I shouldn't listen. You know?
Do you feel dirty?
You're kind of tugging in both directions there.
I listened and I was like, this is Steven and we're drinking some bourbon, and I got really excited. It was
yeah, this is good.
How about that for a back to school special, right?
Oh man, I'm telling you what, back to school is like,
it's like heaven.
but it hits me like a ton of bricks. It's like you go from 0 to 100 in a matter of a day, especially at our house where my wife and I are both teachers. So we're heading back, and then kids start back, and it's like, you don't know what hits you. You haven't worked. And I mean, honestly, I haven't worked in
2 years.
Yeah. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Coming off COVID's a little bit tough,
So now we're back like pretty much normal, and it's just like, just craziness, complete craziness.
Yeah, I agree. Even being in higher ed, and we haven't actually started yet. My son is going to kindergarten, and so him being in kindergarten age and that whole thing, it's different than preschool, of course. And
he's in real school now.
Real school, and getting him up in the morning and getting him going is a challenge. And so my wife and I,
it's a full day of school.
Exactly, we're navigating that. And I thought it'd be a relief, but then the guy goes out the door and we worry about him all the time. So it's a little bit opposite of what I thought. And of course, I'm still getting prepped for my school year and all the new grad students and people that are going to be in there. And so it's a busy time.
One thing I always found fascinating about your, I guess, first time elementary parent.
Yeah.
And I know when I went in, 4 years ago now, I found the age range fascinating of parents.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're sitting in that gym and you have first time parents that may be in their early 20s.
Yeah.
And then you can have parents that they're like, the fourth or fifth kids through and they're in their 50s.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like sitting there, like all together. And because you think when your parent, your kid goes to school, you're all about the same age, or all the parents are kind of about the same age, and you go there, no.
Yeah.
There could be a 30-year age gap between
I don't know how you guys felt, but like for me, I feel like one of the older people over there with being almost 40 years old now and a kindergartner. That's my first kid going to school, so that's a bit shocking to me. So maybe my kid's class had more young people in it. I mean, more younger parents, and I didn't know it. But maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know. But that's a really good point.
Yeah.
I don't know. But by the third day, it was like old habit. By that point, we woke up. My daughter screaming at me about what she wanted to wear and what was for lunch, and
nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. I was like, this is perfect. It's the same. The same thing. She wanted to pack her lunch, and she's like, "What do we have for lunch?" And I said, so I'm opening up the refrigerator, and I just list off a bunch of stuff that we have in there. She goes, "That's not all we have." And I said, "Look, I'm not hiding anything from you in here. This is it. Come look at it. What about the other drawer?" So I opened up the other drawer. that's not all we have. I said, I promise we're not hiding anything. So meanwhile, my son, he's just excited about the fish sticks they were having at school on Friday. And then he got home and he's like, I don't know what those were, but that wasn't fish sticks. And I was like, well,
The old school
mini
ones,
burrito
yeah.
wasn't exactly, I'm sure it wasn't flown in fresh from Maine, that day. So
yeah. It's like the lobster. Many episodes ago when I think I talked about the lobster mac and cheese from Fazoli's.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be a school lunch, right?
it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
That sounds scary.
Yeah.
Okay, so I found my wife's text about
Oh, you
our
found it?
podcast. Yes.
Okay.
She said, Steven's podcast today, it had like the wide-eyed emoji. I said I didn't get to see it or hear it. And she said he's basically just drinking bourbon in his house this morning and made a 2-minute podcast saying that everyone needed to go to the podcast on Apple. He sounds like a sex phone operator.
That's funny.
He's got a good voice for it, I guess.
I'll tell you this: when I played,
I think that's why he really wanted to get the new microphones.
That's it. Yeah,
Accentuate it.
I played it for my wife, and she said that would be great. He should read, like menus and birthday notes and things that people he could make a good living doing that.
Yeah,
so,
maybe he could
We're gonna have a new segment in our program.
that's right.
I was
Steven reads.
I was thinking
I like
he's
that.
taking
I
all
like
of our
that.
equipment here and a little side hustle. And he's, recording audio books and stuff like that.
Well, I think that anytime
During the
we
week.
have information on the back of a label or the front of a bottle, if it's something that's really interesting, I think he's going to have to take the mic
how
over.
like some of those
We're
talk
gonna
about how it's
listen.
like the finest bourbon in the world, made
Exactly.
with the handcrafted, artisan, whatever.
Am I
Yeah,
going to become the Dos Equis of voices?
There you go.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Hey,
Absolutely.
this is our handcrafted bourbon. We make it in small pots, the smallest of pots, and I couldn't say it the same way he would.
Well, speaking of single pots,
Oh,
tonight's barrel/bottle is.
I thought we were going to talk about the airplane bathrooms when he said single pots, but
not tonight. Tonight we have a bottle of Blanton's straight from the barrel bourbon.
oh my gosh! This is the
Coming
most,
in hot.
Hot is an understatement, and this might be the most exciting night in the history of the podcast. So here we go. Blanton's, you guys know about Blanton's. We've talked about it before, but it comes from Buffalo Trace Distillery from the Sazerac Company. Of course, the bottle date on this one is 1/20/21. It is very good bottle, coming in at 63.5%, 127 proof. It's non-age stated, but again, as we've talked about before, we think that these are probably between 5 and 8 years old. The mash bill is Buffalo Trace mash bill number 2, which is thought to be high rye, 12 to 15% rye. And the MSRP on this guy is $150. So it just got a U.S. release, although it's very limited. People used to be able to get this overseas for anywhere between whatever currency you're dealing with, 110 to 130 U.S. dollars after, shipping and things like that. So it's taken off quite a bit lately. And so if you're going to buy this bottle, even though the MSRP, and you'll probably never see it in the United States, $150, you're probably going to pay closer to $200 for it.
But that's for the extra 50 milliliters you get in the United States.
Oh, absolutely.
Well worth it.
So I don't. Before I comment on this bottle, have you gone on an international trip that I don't know about that you were able to acquire this bottle?
Actually, if you consider an international trip talking to my buddy Townsend, that would be the international trip I went on. I traded this. I got it from Townsend, and I think he got it from Randall. You guys might remember we mentioned somebody named Randall before, and Randall somehow gets these bottles. I think he has a boat. He goes across, the
Treacherous
Pacific
waters,
and
shark
Atlantic,
infested.
And he just
Yeah.
has takes a big shipping container, fills it up with
I think so.
straight from the barrels.
Yeah, it's like Deadliest Catch.
golds.
Only he, the waves are hitting the boat,
Yeah.
and he's got the cases of Blantons, and that's what
Well,
it looks like. I think.
there's a special compartment in the hull that he puts all this straight from the barrel in,
Yeah,
so it's concealed. Thank you.
yeah. So I didn't make any international trips, but that's how we got it. So.
Well, this is pretty cool. I mean, I've never had it before, so I'm looking at the bottle, and similar to the gold, it kind of looks like the Blantons that was in the Carnival stretch mirror, right? It's the 700 milliliter.
It looks like the Elijah Craig grenade,
It does a little
just
bit.
a little bit,
bit,
just
yeah.
a little bit larger.
So unlike the gold, it looks like they use probably the same topper that the regular Blanton's bottles does. This is an N colon, by the way.
Oh, which is a big deal.
It's a big
That's
colon,
nice.
It's a tough one.
hard to find.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a everything's handwritten on there. All the proof, the date, the warehouse. The label is kind of got that like fake leather look. You know how get those books that they try to look like they're old, but they're not really old. And they age them.
Oh, you're taking that as leather. I'm taking it as cardboard.
Oh no, see that's like a.
It kind of looks like a
or construction paper.
1980s countertop. That's what it looks like to me. Yeah,
that's what I. That's
it's a beautiful laminate.
Yeah, nice laminate countertop. That's what it looks
bottle
like.
number 183.
I wonder how many bottles.
Well, as I said, there's no like out of like 200 or So I think they just pick a number and put that on there. What do you think?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I mean, why wouldn't you write what it's out of? But
I mean, it's just. I thought we were like the podcast for the everyday person, but in the last couple episodes, we've gone Blanton's Gold, Blanton Straight from the Barrel, Old Rip.
This is true, but I will say this. I mean, I had to give up almost my child to get this bottle. There's some shrewd operators here in the local market, so
we're celebrating, right?
Was it like a case of Special Reserve you had to trade for this?
I did.
Bunch of Henry McKenna's.
Bunch of
white label.
It wasn't even Henry McKenna. It was the special. There's a special. Isn't there a different McKenna? No, I'm just kidding. No, but I think we're celebrating, right? Isn't that why
we are? We're celebrating. We've got to episode 30.
30.
I mean, 31. We'll bring it back down to
maybe an under $10 bottle.
Yeah, we'll do the. Steven's always wanted to do the under $10.
Yeah, I like to go to the store with you guys, and all of us will just pick one bottle under 10, and we'll compare them all.
I like that idea. That's a great idea. We should probably do that next episode. If it follows this one, that'd be great.
Little baby flight.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't go to Total Wine where they have all their own little brands there,
Yeah.
I think we just go to.
Can we stretch it to like $12? Because I really want to. I want everyone to put JTS Brown
he has
in there.
Yeah, he already has something in mind. You can't.
Yeah,
you can't
just cheater.
Okay, fine. Then I can't do it.
No, you can't. You can't do that.
God, that JTS Brown is so delicious. Why am I even thinking about that right now when I got Blanton's Gold?
Yeah,
I mean,
you're sitting here with a international only release, and you're worried about what Kroger's has on the bottom shelf right now.
It's true. It's true. Just pretty soon we'll have to have a vodka episode, right? I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about having an old-fashioned episode for 6 months, but...
I know.
Anywho, what are we getting on the notes, fellas?
I got quite a bit of citrus, actually. I would call it like zest, orange, lemon, zest, big caramel. I don't know. It's about where I stop.
I like that note.
Big.
That's a big caramel.
It's huge, yeah.
I gotta say, I have a list of notes, and all of them are strong. I don't know if it's just the proof or just straight from the barrel, but all these I feel are super strong.
Well, I want to hear them because I don't disagree with you. This thing has got some viscosity to it. Just looking at the legs in the glass, it looks like it's
nice,
thick.
The nice amber, dark amber color.
Very dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like to see from straight from the barrel.
Darker than the regular Blantons, I would say.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, coming in at number 1, I grabbed chocolate right off the bat. Caramel, vanilla, butterscotch, raisin.
Okay. I'm over here like I got zest, and you got all this, and now I'm smelling. I'm like, yep, definitely chocolate. That's a good pick, brother.
Right off the bat, I got it.
Yeah.
And it's I feel like all these are strong.
What about you, Michael? You
No, I'm just a little put off by the notes that are in my car right now. The other night I went through the drive-through, and when I was going through the drive-through, I had my window down and it was pouring down rain, and so it got wet inside. And I think my car got kind of musty, with the rain. And then of course the food that I picked up from the drive-through. And then yesterday had my daughter's birthday, so I went and picked up some Italian food. So when I got in my car this morning, it was like
so all
sour. It was like sour carpet plus Italian food plus some McDonald's, and so it just was a. My daughter was in the back seat today with her mask on, and she said it was because she couldn't.
Oh, she was protecting herself from COVID too. She was protecting herself from Michael's car.
Yes, so I've had the windows down all day in my car trying to let it air out. So. Pardon me if I'm not getting quite the
you have to
the notes on this.
That's more reason for you to stick your entire nose into the glass and figure it out.
Cleanse it out. Cleanse it out.
No, I get a little bit of in addition to everything that you said, Stephen, that's citrus. It's some kind of
citrus,
fruit. It's like a citrus or fruit note that's coming through. So it's nice.
I'm ready to taste this bad boy.
All right,
let's go for 127.
127.
this has got to be some of the smoothest barrel proofs I've ever had.
I would have to agree.
It does not burn.
Not a single bit of burn.
It's got a big Kentucky hug, but it does not burn at all.
I will say this, and I will go on record as saying this. I loved the gold when we tasted it. I remember saying that if I could get it at any time, I probably would. And now, after tasting this one, it's let's put it this way. I know when I got this bottle, I know when I opened it. It was months ago. It was probably 6 months ago. I feel like it was a lot harsher when I first opened it, and now it's
mellowed out.
Mellowed a whole bunch. And
so how was there a burn right off the get-go after you opened it?
I think there was, but I mean, this is, I'm tasting like one of my favorite things. Anybody who listens to this is going to hate me. I just love that like cherry butterscotch vanilla wrap note, anything with cherry in it. And I'm getting that like massive, it just overwhelms my palate anyway. That's what I'm getting. I'm
just enjoying the sip.
Yeah, no, it's really smooth.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, y'all know I don't like anything high proof. And I mean, I'm trying to think back to some of the highest proof anything I've had. And I think like the 1792 full proof is 125.
What's the stag, the 20 stag we have, or I have?
The batch 15, I don't know what it is.
No, not junior stag.
The BTEC stag. Yeah, I don't know.
I forgot what that was.
And then,
you got a 20 stag?
Yeah, oh, that's right. That was the year that they dropped the proof.
You got 19.
Though. Oh, it was 19. Okay.
19.
Still pretty high.
Yeah.
And then I've also had Elijah Craig barrel proof. I think I had one at like 127. The Knob Creek, picks at 120, or maybe even higher than that. I'm not real sure. But anyway, this is definitely smoother than any of those. I remember the Elijah Craig barrel proof, for example, is just, to me, it was just like, I'm coughing up a lung after trying that because it was so heavy going down.
It's very diesel. That's
funny. Speaking of oil, the legs on this thing are just hanging on the glass.
Oh yeah,
like it is thick.
Oh, 100%. It's almost.
It is.
Some things like spider down the glass. Things just like a wall.
I'm waiting on Steven to say it into the microphone. The legs are hanging on the glass.
The legs.
For another $5.99 a minute, you can hear the rest of that conversation.
Please press 1.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, this is we can probably talk and compare it to other barrel proof stuff, but if you think about the stuff that's out there on the market, especially the ones you mentioned, the Stag Junior, Elijah Craig, others that people go after, man, I just know I really like Stag Junior and I'm a big fan of Stag, but this one kind of knocks that stuff off, for me anyway, a little bit off the pedestal that I put it on. So it's tasty. What other notes do you get on the taste and the palate?
That's about it on the notes. The palate, I'm just enjoying it. That's weird. The last couple bourbons we've had, I haven't got much on the palate. I don't know what's going on with me, but
get this man some Cool Ranch Doritos. That's my palate cleanser.
Yep. Clear out the system.
There you go.
I am getting very warm from this drink.
Oh yeah.
So it's probably a little dangerous because it's. So,
I'm sure it's
smooth,
it's going down easy.
But at 127 proof, you're.
So since it's a U.S. release.
So the thing about this is when Straight from the Barrel has been overseas for years, and people have come to, they figure out, they get buddies in the bourbon groups. Those buddies that are overseas end up shipping the bourbon over here and so forth. And so I had some friends that were able to get this stuff for like anywhere from $120 to $140 to their doorstep per bottle for years. Wow. And during COVID, because everything slowed down globally, that price has crept up and up. And so now the least I've seen people get it for is about $190 shipped to their door overseas, unless people got better connections than we do. And then, of course, like I said, if you get it in the U.S., it's $150. So
that's really not that much of a premium.
I mean, it's not, but there's been debate
for not
about
having
that.
to hunt it.
Exactly.
If you can just click a button, you can get 2 or 3 bottles sent to your house for $190 a pop.
Yeah.
have you seen the guy that's
it's pretty nice?
You probably know the guy that's in a lot of groups. He's even in local groups, but he lives in France, and he's always. I mean, he's just got a house full of them.
Like Paris, Kentucky.
No, not in Paris, Kentucky.
Okay.
No.
I know
in
Joe-
he was
I'm
in
sorry,
the
in
big one.
Versailles, Kentucky?
Yes, he's in the big Paris,
Yeah.
big France.
And he always has the French versions of
Yeah.
Weller 12, Eagle Rare, and Buffalo Trace.
Yeah,
and sometimes some Blantons I see
Send you
too.
the little sausages with it when he gets you buy
Wait, what?
You've dealt with him then,
Is this
haven't
true?
you?
You've dealt
I've
with him?
not, but
Oh, I thought you have.
I
but
know
that-
somebody that has.
Okay.
So
So he sends sausages
little
with the package.
Yeah, he gives like little,
Ah.
like kind of, jerky kind of sausages,
Well-
French sausages with your package.
This is actually
If you want to hear the rest of that conversation, go ahead and get your credit card out now.
oh my god.
Press 1 now.
Speaking of which, have either of you guys ever shipped any bourbon anywhere in the United States or elsewhere?
The answer is obviously no.
No.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. See, you have. I haven't actually.
Oh, is this? I thought I was hooked up to a lie detector.
Oh,
I have. Yes.
you have. Well, see, I haven't. I've only shipped beer to a buddy. We did a beer exchange, and I've shipped sample bottles of bourbon, but I've never shipped full bottles. But when I shipped this big pack of beer to my buddy, I put Mingua beef jerky in there. Because then when they asked me what was in the package, I just said, it's just beef jerky that you can only get in Kentucky, some good beef jerky. And so I get maybe why they put the sausages in there from France, right?
Yeah. So I've done like in some groups where you do like kind of like a local package,
Mm-hmm.
So, if you win something from a guy that lives in Texas, he's going to put in some, a whiskey or something from Texas. Plus he's going to throw in some local Texas products and,
Get some
same,
hot sauce.
Yeah. Same for me.
Oh, you mean like the original Dr. Pepper?
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I've never been able to win. I've only had to ship. And so,
That's
but-
only sold within 100 miles of that plant, right?
The OG Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, I think
know.
that place
know
in
that.
Texas, they don't really think there's a
Is that-
distributorship.
Is that in Plano?
You know what?
Might be.
It might
think
be.
you're right.
I
I
think
think
it
you're right.
is.
So anyway, so I had to send like, it had to be like $150 worth of stuff. So, I threw in a town branch, because I figured, and at 75, and it's like at $75, that's half my package right there.
Wow.
You sent Steven smiling.
But the thing is if you're from Kentucky, you can send them anything and they think it's great.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
like,
that's true. That's
I'm
true.
not sure about that.
yeah, well, they'll find out, but they can't send it back. So once it
gets there.
yeah, that's
It's
right.
so bad they're going to pay for shipping to
So-
get it back to you.
And I threw in some Woodford Reserve, bourbon balls and
Oh, yeah.
like
That's
some
good stuff.
barbecue sauce, the bourbon barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
and
Well, that's the thing.
Mingy
Like,
beef jerky. I think I did put some of that in there.
Yeah,
Maybe a
it's good
couple
stuff.
local beers, like a couple cans of that.
and that's the thing when you're shipping, and obviously, one day you should probably be able to walk into a store and do that, but because of liquor laws and everything, it's not possible to do it legally, but everyone does it, right? And so, actually, I'm thinking now to shipping the samples, I got to get back to doing that with one of my buddies in Missouri that I used to ship samples with. And so we haven't done that in a while. So this year I'm going to rekindle that. We would just put a bunch of 2-ounce bottles together, like 6 of them, send them for the holidays around Thanksgiving, drink them all, and then you do it again next year. So,
Well, speaking of gifts, I think it's like, that is kind of a gift.
yeah.
And it's not, straight for the barrel, but Blanton's is like the perfect gift, You give
Oh.
somebody
yeah.
a Blanton's, they know what it is. It feels expensive.
Yep.
Especially
know.
with that little netting they put on
Yeah,
it.
and it may not
Yeah.
be expensive for us. $60.
But it's hard to find.
It is hard to find
It goes in
most
waves,
places.
too. It goes in waves. Like right now, I feel like Blanton's has been lean again. It's
Right.
been lean lately, but it was plentiful like about a month ago.
But we can always, run up to the distillery here locally,
that's true. Yeah.
and get it for $60-something bucks. But you buy that for somebody that doesn't live around here, and you give them that as a gift, and it's almost as good as giving them gold or something.
Yeah. I actually talked to, so one of my neighbors stopped by the other day. We did a little bourbon trade and we stopped and chatted about it. And he said that one year he collected a bunch of Blantons just so that he could give them to like friends and clients and stuff like that. And I think I'm getting this right. He gave one bottle to somebody that was a big account or whatever, or the guy that hit it. And he said the guy like looked at it and it was actually his birthday.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
nice.
so he like looked at it and he like started crying. He's like he teared up and he was like, not only have I been looking for this for like a year, but now this date is just too much for me. So like that
Was it a coincidence, the birthday?
No, he had planned that. The guy who gifted it had planned it, but the guy had no idea. First of all, he was just excited to get a bottle of Blanton's, and the fact that it had his birthday on it was even more,
The month and day or the month and year?
No, just the month and day, not the year. I mean, those ones are tough pulls. But,
all right, so let's talk real quick about dates. Just I don't comment a whole lot on Facebook on groups, but I popped off on a guy the other day that was looking for a specific date. On a Blanton's bottle, and it was like 35 years ago. It was like 19, maybe longer than that. It was like 1991, so not 35 years ago, but 30 years ago.
Yeah,
And so this guy replied, and this guy's like, "Well, that's going to be almost impossible to find." And I thought, well, yeah, because it's 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. But he goes, "That's because they only dumped like once on a Sunday ever." And I'm like, so I went back and I kind of keep a little inventory of my Blantons and the dump dates, just in case somebody's looking for one, and I can sell it to them. And I look back, and I have 3 in my inventory that were dumped on Sundays. And I was like, dude, either my luck is just perfect, or I said, or what? But I was like, I got 3 bottles I'm holding that are dumped on Sundays. So I was like, I don't think that's accurate. And the guy's like, well, that's what I was told. I'm like, well, I'm telling you what I'm looking at. And
I think we commented previously on the fact that like we get angry when we see people looking for really specific dates, but that's a whole different thing, because I know that I never thought they'd dump one on my birthday, but then I found one that was dumped on my birthday, and I screwed the deal up. So I didn't get it, but it's all good.
I had a girl.
I know there's a group too, right? Where you can get
that's right.
Dates,
and that's what I had a girl. She was looking for one for like her wedding day or something. And she was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I had it, and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" She's like, "I've been looking for this for 6 months and 8 months or whatever since whenever her wedding date was." I'm like, "Okay, well, I got it." And then she just like ghosted. She didn't reply back, and
she ghosted you.
And I'm like, she's like, "I've been looking for this thing." And I mean, she was willing to pay pretty good for it.
It was actually me with a fake profile.
So then she just disappeared. So I'm like, hey, all right, well, if it was that important to you, you would have followed up on that. Whatever.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, gentlemen, would you pass, try, or buy on the Blanton's straight from the barrel bourbon?
Oh, I'm buying. If I could get it, I'm buying it. Anything Blanton's, I'm buying. I don't care. Call me a Tater or Homer or whatever. The people that are like, oh, it's a drain pour Blanton's. I don't care. I love Blanton's.
Okay, Mr. Tater, Mr. Pour.
That's right. Call it whatever.
You go to our local Rite Aid, and there's a gold and a straight from the barrel side by side. Limit 1. What are you buying?
Oh, I'm probably buying the gold.
Buying the gold. Why is that?
That's just the proof. It's simply because I like the lower proof.
Did you have a problem with this 127?
No, I liked it. Liked it a lot, but
I kind of feel like Steven's interrogating you over here.
I mean,
I was just curious because I might as well go.
Talk about an unlikely situation.
Oh, I know, totally. But I had to make a point.
I was gonna say, if it's me and I got those 2 sitting on the shelf,
Limit 1.
I'm on the phone calling somebody to come over
there and buy
both of them, right?
Absolutely.
I thought maybe you're going to be on the floor in the fetal position crying because you can't decide.
No, I'm going out to the car and finding a
fake ID,
fake mustache, and wear sunglasses in. Or
I think I actually did that once at Total Wine, where I took my shirt off and put a different shirt on and put a different hat on, and I can't remember. I think they caught me when I came back in. They were like,
I did it one time at a store. They had by that point they had opened up 2 different lines, so I'm like, I'm gonna go over to this other cash register. I was able to grab a second one that way.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you guys this: I'm a buy, and I put my money where my mouth is. So
sure did.
This is the only bottle, this one that we're drinking from tonight, that I was able to obtain, and I went and scoured the internet, and as long as everything works out, I might have 2 more coming from the Netherlands.
So this is the only one you have?
Yeah, and
is it the only one you've ever had?
It's the only one I've ever had. Wow. Yep. So just so you guys know, we are still regular guys. Like, this is the only Blanton straight from the barrel I've ever had, and we're just enjoying it, the 3 of us. So that's good.
Have you ever heard of it being on the shelf? I guess it's only been in the U.S. now for what? Is it the same? Did it come available at the same time as the gold?
It did, and I only know of one person who really had no idea what was going on one day texted me and said, this person just offered me this, should I buy it at $150? And I said, yes. And they were like, okay, cool. And they're like, I know nothing about it. And
was it the $750?
It was a $750. It's in a box with a bag.
Oh, nice.
Like when this came, it just was in a box with no
New
bag.
Scrabble bag.
Yeah. Unless Randall stole the bag. Randall could have stolen the bag.
I think he probably does.
I think he
because,
did, yeah.
Because I've gotten the Blantons from him. The Blanton's
Yeah.
Gold I got came from him, and it was just in a box with no bag.
Yeah, but I think
is he becoming the
overseas-
quilter?
I think that's like the...
Yes, quilting.
Or the quilter
Yeah.
tapestry master.
I think that's like his... That's like his little part that he keeps, you know?
Yeah, no, I think those import ones don't have bags with them. I really do. I don't think there's. We'll see if I get the ones that I get. If they ever come in, we'll see if they have bags or not. We
Could be
follow
brown
them.
bags.
Yeah, but where I was getting with all this is I'm a buy too. I'm a buy all day, and I'm probably a buy it to about 200, and then the secondary right now on these is probably 250. You know, national secondary might be higher, maybe 270, 300. But locally, 250 secondary, so I'd be paying 200. I'd be happy.
All right. I'll make this quick. Then I got to follow up. Buy. Done. All right, moving on. You have this special bottle. You're paying, say, bet you bought it for 300. You have it. What would you not drink over it?
What do you
So there's a lot B.
say? Okay.
Drinking this over that?
You know,
I'm just seeing where we can go in this and
in
where's
terms
the
of
line.
premium stuff, I'm drinking this over a lot of
I agree.
fall releases.
I agree.
So when I say fall releases, I'm talking things that I've had and tried, like Old Forester Birthday Bourbon. You know, I'm sorry, this might be sacrilege, but I've never been overly impressed with the E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. I've only had one pour at a bar, and then I have my own bottle of it, but we can maybe review that. I don't even know what batch it is, but I was never like, it's good, but it's not like this good. And so there are a lot of fall releases. I know I mentioned one from Old Forester, one from Buffalo Trace. You know, I'm not going to like go buy a Woodford batch proof over this. sorry Woodford, but I'm just saying, like, I mean,
This is way smoother than a Master's Collection.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's coming out this fall where I would gladly pay to have this shipped to my door for $190 than buy that as a special release wherever.
I'm just amazed how smooth this is.
Yeah,
This is excellent.
I know. I agree. What do you think about as special releases? Because that begs the question. We joked about the fact that there's the antique collection, and people have said that this might one day be an antique collection release if they have it old enough. But I don't know.
I mean, it's almost to the point, just sitting here, you know, this could be that bottle that's special that's up on the shelf that you only pull down for special occasions.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd rather just keep
Because
it like
this is so much better than a lot of other stuff that we've had.
I agree.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to take a Blanton's out of that bottle right there, like, and put it in one of those wine bottles, like, you know, the handies and the stags and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
You don't want to see that?
I don't see that.
Oh, yeah.
I want to.
Well, it's one of those things, because once that happens, then it's going to make it even
Harder.
harder to get
Damn.
than it is right now. I mean, really, you got to hustle, but you can get your hands on it if you try, and of course, you're willing to spend $250 to $300. You have no problem getting it, but you know, all the people out there that are, again, let's say it again, we've said it in previous episodes, Blanton's naysayers, this is good bourbon, and it's not tasting like, you know, majority of stuff that's on the shelf. So,
I mean, I guess the only knock on it, and it could just be need to be in the barrel longer. It just isn't. It's not as dynamic as probably some of like the William Weller.
William LaRue's, yeah,
Right, or just
the depth of flavor is
that
not,
just keeps
not there,
developing
yeah.
and keeps carrying on.
Yeah.
This is, you know, what it is, but you know what it is excellent.
Yeah. What if you had your top bourbons that you ever had? Would I put this in my top 5? Unfortunately, I'm not seasoned enough of a drinker to know whether I would. But
I don't have that many under my belt
you know,
to probably.
there
say
are
that.
some George T. Staggs I've tried that are amazing, and William LaRue Wellers and things of the like that are very, very, you know, exceptional stuff. I don't know if I'd put it in the same category, but it's probably a top 10 for me.
Yeah,
Easy.
I'm not good enough to like have one drink at a bar and be like, oh yeah, that was one of my favorite ones of all time. You know,
Yeah.
To
I would
have
say-
something once, I can't like remember it that good enough. You know, I don't carry around a little notebook where I write stuff down or anything. So
Yeah.
I would just say, as someone that likes to nose their bourbon to oblivion, that, you know, keeping this from being like a 10 out of 10, it probably puts it like an 8 or 7, probably an 8. Just that's not developing more, and that's just the age.
Yeah. And that's fair. I mean, you know, you got to ground this a little bit. I'm over here talking like it's the greatest thing ever since it's been introduced in bourbon, but it's not that. It's just very good.
Yeah.
You know, I put it bordering exceptional.
And with that, thanks for listening to this week's edition. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at TheMashupKY. Also, let us know your thoughts on this bottle in the comment section. Until next time, keep it neat.